Hey everybody, I'm back. Okay, so we were learning about situational combos, and I was talking about how people sometimes hate rain dance teams. Examples like that. Sorry, I'm going to take some water real quick. Excuse me. Apologies. So, y'all have probably noticed, probably for the last few days I've been uploading a little bit more. Again, so many videos are being pushed out. I gotta fucking double up. At least I increased it by 4. Don't worry, it won't always be like this. Once I catch up, I'll probably be doing 8 videos a day from here on out. Or at least 1 video every 2 days, so, like, it doesn't get too fucking crazy. But anyways, let's go back to what we were doing. For example, make Togepi use Safeguard, then switch with Mankey. Make this Pokemon use Thrash. This will prevent Mankey from becoming confused after it uses Thrash. This is an example of a combo featuring a move that remains in effect if the user switches out. Combos represent the skill and wisdom of trainers. I hope you will try to create your own beautiful combos like the ones I demonstrated for you. Okay, I will, Earl. Alright, what's your question? What move's power is doubled if used against a target that used minimized? Swift. It's Stomp. My bad, I didn't pay attention. I'm stupid. There we go. Yep. I'm sorry, I failed you, Earl. I failed you. Okay, trainer battles in Elite Four class. Switching. If you are willing to waste 1 turn to switch Pokemon in battle, it is best to bring out a Pokemon that is completely unaffected by the opponent's attack. That is the defense first switching style, which appears to be popular now. I believe I taught you this already. However, it goes out saying that you will never win by just defending. You should consider offense-minded switching. Right. Let me illustrate. Let's assume you have Electric-type Pikachu out. Let's assume the foe uses a Ground-type move. Your Electric type is at an obvious disadvantage. Your first instinct would be to switch it with a Flying type that is unaffected by Ground-type moves. Let's stop to think about this. While it is true that Flying types are unaffected by Ground types, the type matchup of Flying type against Ground type is neutral. In other words, you won't be able to attack effectively. If I were you, I would not hesitate to send out a Grass-type Pokemon. Yes, I would do the exact same thing. Ground-type moves can only inflict half their usual damage against Grass types. On the other hand, Grass-type attacks inflict double the usual damage on Ground-type Pokemon. This is what I mean by offensive-minded switching. Wonderful. However, do keep in mind that the opponent's attacks are only reduced in power, not made ineffective. Do you choose to give priority to defense or take offense, even at the expense of some damage? You should evaluate your current situation before choosing between them. It's no good unless you have different kinds of Pokemon. Yes. Ask away, Earl. Switching Pokemon is very important. What is necessary for switching? Various Pokemon. Okay, yep. Yay. Okay, reading the situation. Attacking the type matchup weaknesses of Pokemon is a basic strategy. However, depending on the situation, doing so isn't necessarily the best course of action. Allow me to explain. For example, consider a battle between a Tauros and a Mantine. Let's assume Tauros used a TM to learn the Electric-type move Thunder. You would probably consider yourself lucky. After all, Mantine's 2 types, Water and Flying, are both weak against Electric-type attacks. This means it will have its power quadrupled. That certainly sounds wonderful, but hold on just 1 second. Don't be fooled by the situation's allure. Thunder is a special attack That means the amount of damage is determined by its stats, special attack, and special defense. Let's check these stats. Tauros' special attack is rather low. On the other hand, consider Mantime's special defense. It is very high. All of a sudden, the move loses its appeal. Furthermore, I don't think Thunder is a move that will hit very often. In this case, rather than exploiting a type match-up weakness, it may be better to use a normal type move. The normal of a normal type move is multiplied by 1.5 because of the type match. For example, moves like Double Edge and Body Slam might be more effective. The type matchups and stats, which kind of weakness should be exploited. Learn to read the situation thoroughly before committing yourself to the next move. Yes. Okay. What is your question, Earl? Which move is powered up 1.5 times if it is used by Tauros? Double Edge. Okay, that is correct. I'm glad you listened to my lessons very carefully. Reading the foe's moves. Today's topic's rather difficult, so listen carefully. Pardon? They're always hard? Oh, please don't be that way. Just think of it as tough love. Today's topic is reading your rival. I'll teach you to predict your opponent's next move, then attack accordingly. A battle has gotten underway with the grass-type Meganium facing off against the water-type Azumarill. Naturally, people would want to use a grass-type move that is super effective against water-type Pokemon. For this instance, a move like Razor Leaf would be dandy, but wait just a moment, consider things from your opponent's perspectives. If it were you, wouldn't you want to switch out? Not only that, wouldn't you think about sending out a Fire-type Pokemon that is strong against a Grass-type Pokemon? Against a Fire-type Pokemon, Grass-type moves is halved. It's rather vexing. What should you do about it? I would use a normal type move that is equally effective against the water type and fire type. In other words, a move that would be just as effective whether the opponent switches out or not. For example, I would use a normal type move such as Body Slam. Against most Pokemon types, a normal type move's damage multiplier is 1, so if you want to be sure to inflict damage, a normal type move works quite well. Let's look at this another battle. Suppose you sent out water type for Alligator. Your opponent is led with a fire type Rapidash. Again, let's try to guess what your opponent is thinking. It's likely that your opponent will switch out and put out an electric type Pokemon that is tough against your water type. I would suggest using a ground type move that is super effective against both fire and electric type. By doing so, it wouldn't matter if my opponent switched out or not. For example, I would use a move like Earthquake. Do you see? For Alligator with Earthquake. Outsmarting your foes begins with the moves you can teach your Pokemon. This is how trainers will try to anticipate each other's actions in high-level battles. Determine what Pokemon your opponent has chosen. Then use moves in anticipation of what he or she may do in battle. Alright. Which normal type move can be learned by Meganium? Body Slam. Okay, that's it. That's correct. I'm glad you listened to all my lessons carefully. Holding an item. Have you ever noticed a Pokemon holding an item even though you never gave it one? Actually, some wild Pokemon are already holding items. In a very rare case, there may be holding exceedingly rare items. For example, in my own experience tells me that about 1 in every 4 wild Clefairy holds a Mystery Berry. In very rare cases, a Clefairy may be holding a Moonstone. Wouldn't that be wonderful? I certainly would like to use Thief on it. Also, a Pokemon that is traded from red, blue, or yellow into the world of gold and silver will always be holding an item of some sort. What a great deal! The item differs from Pokemon to Pokemon. For example, Tangela is always holding Bitterberry. The item a wild Pokemon refers, won't change. Let's say you catch a wild Nidoran female, and it evolves into a Nidorina or a Nidoqueen. The evolved forms will be holding the same item as an unevolved Nidoran. Its held item will always be TM43 Detect. If you catch a wild Nidorina, its held item won't change even if it evolves into a Nidoqueen. The item it holds will still remain as the same for Nidorina, a berry. There are also items that are held only by specific Pokemon. For instance, there is an item that is held only by a wild Kadabra in Yellow version. Can you find others? Before I finish, I have to tell you about items that are useless unless held by specific Pokemon. I'll give you a few examples. One example is Light Ball. This Pokemon doubles the power of special attacks, but only held by Pikachu. The hold item Thick Club is only for Cubone and Marowak. It doubles the power of physical attacks. There are others too. I wish I had one. Yep. Here's a question. A wild Clefairy may be holding an item other than a mystery berry. What item is it? Moonstone. Okay, that's it. That is correct. I'm glad you listened to all my lessons. Alright, at this point, I've probably finished all the lectures. I'll finish the last lecture on the next video, which will have the Elite Four quiz. Catch you all later. Peace, stay crispy, everybody. Bye.